me just get my ticket out here. We just came out of seeing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Head. Sonic the Head.
Oh, so many of my friends have been saying good things about this movie.
And let's just say it does not disappoint. This is how you do a video game franchise. This is exactly how you do it. The first movie was fantastic, and this was just so much fun.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to comprehend everything that happened.
Well, it was bizarre, but that was because of how Jim Carrey was in it. But it worked though. Like,
you go first. You're a bigger enthusiast than I am. You're more deep.
It was funny because it kind of made me think of like both of the animated Sonic shows with how he was. Like, he could be very intimidating, but he was like so freaking goofy at the same time. I pulled every hair out of my head to get that hedgehog. And like, I like how. Well, I can't say too much because I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say it was a blast to watch. Like, Jim Carrey was fantastic as Robotnik. Knuckles was amazing. Tails was amazing. It was a really, really good sequel, because some sequels will kind of fall flat, but this one, I feel like this was better than the original. And the original was a good movie, too, but this really built on the original movie.
I remember playing the video games when I was young. When I had the Sega Genesis, it came with the second one, and that was fun. That was fun to play.
Yeah.
Every time my uncle or someone would come over, they'd be impressed at how I would go so fast, and I always beat them and stuff. Because it was like a 2-player trial with him and Tails.
Yeah.
The Sonic, the first movie was the one I saw right before the pandemic hit everything. So that was interesting, seeing it was a good step forward, how they were listening to the fans, fixing things up so you wouldn't have that horrible CGI design and things like that.
Yes.
And I had a blast with that one. Like, it was a family buddy comedy, but it was alright.
Yeah.
It was fun, it was well written, and there was a character going on with Sonic.
Yeah.
I was so used to being alone, and then he meets James Marsden as that cop.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice heart and center for that film. Just, there was a character progression going on. Things worked great. This one, I don't know what to say about it. There's just so much. If it helps, I didn't hate it. I did not hate this movie. That's the important thing. But after so much, and sitting through so much, and for a 2-hour film that's packed with so many different elements, it becomes Terminator 2, and then a treasure hunt, and then it turns into the ending to a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. There's just so much stuff packed in that right when there's a big turn that happens, I was getting exhausted. Like, there was still enjoyment pieces, because Jim Carrey was keeping me awake, but for the last third, I was so exhausted by everything they were throwing in. I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch this one just to get my thoughts together, but right now, I kind of liked it, but I don't know.
It's a lot to take in. I had a blast watching it. I really
I'm glad
did.
you did. I'm glad the kids were there did. I'll say this much. As a family movie, it's serviceable. I think young Sonic fans will enjoy this. There's a lot of stuff they will like. Older fans, they're going to get a lot of nice Easter eggs. There's one with the Dr. Robotnik mean bean machine that I thought was kind of cute. I liked how that weaves into a little gag there.
Or that he has, like, his logo is literally the original Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
With how he looks.
That was pretty nice, how they worked that in. There's just so much stuff they threw in. I don't know, maybe because my mind is so numb from binging so many full moon cheesy B-movie features, but I don't know. I didn't hate this movie. That's the best I can say. I didn't hate it, but I was so exhausted. Yeah. The only two things that were carrying me through this movie was Jim Carrey and Idris Elba's Knuckles. Those two had defined characters. They were interesting. Every time they were on screen, something was going on with them that was so unique. Robotnik using him to get the The emerald at the end. Please correct me. I'm so sorry. The name of that, it's not a Chaos Emerald. It's...
What? The Master Emerald.
Master Emerald. Thank you. Master Emerald. My brain's fried. So... when it was just them going against each other, that was an interesting dynamic. Because you have one that's trying to redeem his honor and glory for the lost tribe, which had a really good emotional punch. Yeah. Robotnik, on the other hand, going back to Earth so he can be a conqueror of Earth. That I thought was interesting. But when it was going back to the stuff with Sonic and Tails, it was so run-of-the-mill that these lines they were saying, these moments they're having going back and forth with each other, it just felt standard. I don't know what it was. There wasn't much progression. It was just them together to stop these two. And I thought the villains were so more defined and interesting that when we get to the stuff between Sonic and Tails, where they're going to this Serbian village and moving on from one comedic beat to the next, I don't know, there's something about that just fell flat. We're talking about a scene with going to an intimidating bar sequence. And to give an idea, and I don't want to make comparisons, this is unfair. You remember the bar scene, the El Ciso Cafe from the Muppet movie? That is more interesting because it's so rough, it's tough, it's gritty, it's mean, and there is a payoff to it. It's a silly payoff, but it works. Here, there is a silly scene, but it comes right out of nowhere. It's like you're gonna be building this really gritty fight, and then it's a big dance-off, and it's just like this big, what's going on here? Like, there's so many silly turns to the point I'm like, okay, I cannot accept this as a well-grounded, weighted movie. It's a cartoon. Even right down to a scene where someone slices the head off of a fish, and the fish head falls in front of the characters and goes, run. Like, is this supposed to be a cartoon? The first movie was not a live-action cartoon. What's going on? I'm confused. Help me, world. Help me. I'm confused. There was so much weight in the first one, but there was a cartoony execution. This one's the polar opposite. It's trying to be a live-action cartoon like Gremlins 2. And that's what's got me confused, because the tone's so off-balanced. The first one felt like a family film that was cartoony, but there was weight to it. There was actual weight to it. I mean, okay, the stuff with Robotnik and his technology stuff, fine. I'm not going to argue that. That obviously lends weight to it being like a cartoon. But there's so many cartoony elements that happen, so many over-exaggerated set pieces, that it got to a point where I just didn't know whether to accept it as an extreme comedic sequence done in live action, or if it's just in its own universe. It was so hard to balance. And that's why I was so accepting of Robotnik and Knuckles, because their moments were so consistent, up until one particular point with Robotnik that was like something out of Superman 2 cross at Magneto. Without giving too much away, I don't know how to accept this. I'm lost for words. I didn't hate this movie, don't get me wrong. I'm just so confused.
Well, I think the fight scene in the village was supposed to be their imaginations a little bit, like with the fish head rolling over to them and saying run. Because you got to keep in mind, both Sonic and Knuckles are confirmed to be children.
Oh, sure. And then there's one moment later where one character tries to go after someone with a go-kart and it crashes into a set and explodes like something out of a spy action film.
I just think that was meant to just... this movie had a lot of nods to other movies, had a lot of...
like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, a lot of pop culture references. I mean, I personally thought it worked, but it might not work for everyone.
I didn't hate this movie. I'm just so down the middle. There's things I did like, but then there's things that just... I will gladly watch this again over Last Night in Soho, if that cheers you up. Because there were things I was holding on to throughout the duration of the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I did like Last Night in Soho, but it was a flawed movie.
Yeah, as a family movie, it's fine. There's just so much thrown in that I just don't know how to process this.
Yeah.
The first film was a buddy road trip movie, but he had Robotnik being Wile E. Coyote and sending all these things after him. I liked that because it was so simplistic. Here it's just, no, now it's him against Knuckles trying to redeem his honor, and then it becomes, no, it's a treasure hunt to get this ultimate power Ark of the Covenant kind of thing, and then it's Robotnik getting revenge at everyone and everything and trying to take over the world, and it's... I feel like I was watching two movies being smashed together and somehow sewn and stitched together. I feel like they moved the climax from the third one at the end of this one. It's too much. It's all too much. I don't know. That's my review. I don't know. Morgan Ledger.
Well, my review is 2 thumbs up, and his review is, I don't know. So trailers.
I remember the trailers.
The trailers, the first one I believe was Jurassic Park.
No.
Well, that was one of the trailers.
Jurassic Park Jurassic World Dominion was one of the trailers. The other one was a movie they made back in the 2010s.
That looked really
And
bad.
they've been trying to get that released.
Yeah, and it just looks really
And
bad.
then the fact they have a trailer released, it's like, wow, you waited this long. This long. You even have a Twitter reference.
Well, the funny thing is, when Morgan said to me, oh yeah, this movie was supposed to come back in 2010, I said, gee, I could tell.
It was originally called Blazing Samurai, because it was meant to be a take on Blazing Saddles with Mel Brooks, but instead of Westerns, it's samurais.
Yeah.
No, here it's Fists of Paws, The Legend of Hank. And I'm like, Blazing Samurai is kind of funnier.
Yeah, it didn't look good. I don't think that's one I'm going to watch.
You might like... Then again, you might like Blazing Saddles more, because a lot of the jokes they use in that trailer, they literally ported over here. The giant sumo wrestling cat, that's Mongo from the first movie, but it's done funnier.
Yeah.
Them eating beans and farting and stuff, that was done in Blazing Saddles, but was done funnier.
So it's pretty much a Blazing Saddles ripoff.
I want to say ripoff, but the problem is they have Mel Brooks in it.
So a remake, just not as good.
Exactly, but
animated.
Exactly, but
and samurais.
Yeah, but
and overall, just does not look good.
Now I want to see Blazing Saddles again. The problem is Blazing Saddles at least had a point.
Yeah.
It was about taking a big stab at the West, the old West, and how wrong it is. You have a movie where, and stay with me here, how to describe? Okay. Calm, zen, I'm not turning into a red panda. A black guy becomes the sheriff of a racist town. That is the premise of the whole movie. But it's so beautifully done. It is taking a whack at racism. Right between the eyes.
Well, that's good.
And that is great. He's partnered with Gene Wilder, who's this drunkard that moves quick and fast.
Yeah.
Harvey Korman is this insane, sheriff guy that wants to destroy the town and things like that. There's a scene where they're at the campfire eating beans and they burp and they fart and they burp. They fart. It turns into this big orchestra, which is hilarious.
So Susan's burping problem just with the cowboys.
Yeah, but if I recall the premise of this movie, it's a dog becoming a samurai sheriff to a town of cats.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, it just doesn't look good. Was there a third trailer?
No, it was just those two.
Okay. My one complaint about the Jurassic World one, dinosaurs running in the snow.
They are amphibians. They would not work in the snow. They would freeze because they're cold-blooded. Ah!
Well, this is made of felt. Oh. I don't know if I had to rank. If I had to give this a, am I kidding? If I had to give Sonic 2 a rating, right now I'm thinking of maybe a 2.5 out of 4, because that's at least a little in the middle. I didn't hate it enough, but at the same time, I'm so torn.
Yeah.
Because it's really half and half right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much. I don't know. Maybe I saw it again and get better, but at the same time, I'm just like, what balances it out? Because the first movie, he had the human characters. He was bouncing off of that. They were the straight men to his situations, and that's what made it so interesting. When you see two CGI characters bounce off each other, I don't know. I just felt like something about it just doesn't feel right. It just feels synthetic. And is it just me, or did it feel weird how in some action scenes there was not a whole lot of people? I'm not going to knock this movie down for it, because I know it was made during the pandemic and they had to take precautions and things like that. But there was just something about it that felt a little artificial because there was less people in the villages running around. I mean, I'm not gonna.
I honestly didn't notice, but I wasn't really paying attention to that.
I'm not gonna hit it down for that. I'm just saying there was something about it that felt weird.
Yeah.
Because you have scenes where something big and major is happening, and a lot of the focus is on like 3 or 4 and maybe a digital creature. Instead of just seeing people running around going, oh no, something grand is happening, there's a Godzilla giant climax happening, it's like, it just felt weird to me. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not holding it against the film, because it was made during COVID and things like that, so I'm just going to let that be as it is. But I don't know, for something that felt so big and grand in scale, there's like 1/3 of it that feels kind of cheapened, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird to explain, and I'm not going to hold that against the film, but I just wanted to get that out there.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe the third one might be better. I don't know, maybe the third one might be better.
We shall see. I mean, the post...
Given the little teaser again.
Yeah, we're not going to say what it was, but you guys can take a guess on what it was.
Like, for me, I'm taking away Knuckles and Jim Carrey.
Yes.
So those are the two things. At least see it for that. The kids will like it better.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say this. The kids will definitely like it better. If you're a fan of Sonic, you'll definitely like this. But for a novice like me, I'm just so torn.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for being torn.
It is what it is. You're entitled to your opinion.
I know, but I don't want to upset you. I mean...
You don't have to worry about upsetting me. There's other movies that I liked more than you did and vice versa.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like, again, Last Night in Soho. I mean, that movie was very flawed, but I did like it.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, you did not like that at all.
No. It was not good.
Next time, Turning Red. We already watched it.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yes, we already watched that, but we'll save that for next time.
Indeed. You got it. I'm so bad. You got a headache going on and everything.
It's okay. It's okay.
Look, as long as you had a good time, that's important.
I did.
I'm glad you did.
All right, guys, till next week.
Cheers.